Hello, everyone. My name is Jason Ramirez, and welcome to the Hit List Podcast, a podcast where me and the guests cross off films from our watch list and discuss them. This is Season 5, Episode 7. Today, I'm joined by fellow filmmaker and Season 1 veteran and fellow Latino as well, Pedro Castro Jr. Welcome back, Pedro. Thank you so much for coming back to the show.
Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be back. I'm really excited to talk about this movie, and congrats on season 5 already?
Yeah.
Season 5, yeah.
Yeah, the way I do seasons is like I do it by literally each season of the year. So
that's smart.
So it's
good
not
framework.
like it's not like year 1, year 2. No, it's like fall season and then spring season 2. Fall season, spring season. So yeah, that's how it goes. All right. So I got a couple questions for you, little icebreakers so we can like get back into you, see what you've been up to the past 2 years, see if your viewing habits have changed. So my first question, have your viewing habits changed much since your last on the show?
So since now I am in grad school, I've had a lot of time to watch movies recently. I think this movie that we watched was one of the few movies that I actually sat down and watched it all through and through. But I've been watching a lot of TV, a lot of like 20-minute, 30-minute episode, like what's it called? What We Do in the Shadows, Community.
Hey.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I've been watching stuff like that, and of course like Andor. Star Wars fan, of course, I have to watch that.
Yeah, you even recommended I watch Solo last time you were on the podcast. I haven't gotten around to it yet, but I do hear good things about Andor, which I'm glad about.
Andor's really good, yeah.
All right, so my second question for you is, I like this question because I get to learn some new things about my guests. What's something about you that most people wouldn't know?
Oh wow. Something about me that people wouldn't know. I guess maybe my closest friends do know this, but I'm like really into like this kind of like mysterious, strange kind of aesthetic. Maybe that's like kind of what the movie is about, like the tone that the movie sets that we watch that we're going to be talking about later. I like that kind of stuff, like the back rooms, liminal kind of stuff. I think in my Instagram I put like see me in the back room, stuff like that. I found it really interesting. I think it's something maybe, and that's why I chose this movie. I found that really interesting, and I wish there could be more to explore. There's a lot to explore about in that area, but I think that's one of the things. Kind of weird, I know, but yeah.
I think, have you ever worked as like a security guard?
No.
Okay, because I used to work as a security guard like years ago, and I always work like the night shift, like 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. And like just like the vibe of like being in a building with like all the lights up, like people are it's like I don't want to say it's like a lived in space, but it's like an office space. But it's creepy because there's no one in there except for me.
It feels off, right? Like you see those images of people just alone in rooms, or you watch those scenes and it feels off.
Yeah.
But at the same time it feels interesting. I don't know. There's something about it that I find interesting.
You should try at least once, like be a security guard for just one night. I think you'll like it.
Maybe. I'll stick with video games right now.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Something about me though. Most people don't know I almost had a rap career during my undergrad years.
Really?
Yeah. The reason why it didn't go forward is because I'm not good at rap.
That's interesting. Did you like ever like try to record your own like stuff or something? You went all the way?
It was more like experimental stuff, like just learning how to practice and everything. I'm the type of guy where like I'll practice a lot behind the scenes before I'm even public about it. To the point where like people are like, "Wait, Jason, I didn't know you could do that." Well, I just never really thought to tell you. Yeah. So
that's really interesting. What would your rap name be if you would have gone to it?
It's funny. It's J Remy.
Okay.
So it'd be like Jeremy. But it's like J Remy.
J Remy. I like it.
Yeah, because I don't like the Lil. It's used so much, Lil Nas X, Lil Jon. Like, nah. I
feel like it's a stereotype now. It's like just Lil. Like, you used to have Lil. It's like, okay, you want to be a rapper.
No, but like J Remy is like, oh, he knows some literature.
Sounds like a DJ as well.
It does. You're
DJ
right.
J Remy.
Hey, you know what? You're right. Or DJ Remy 101.6. WXTA. Exactly. You know what I'm talking about. So today we're going to be discussing a film called Come True. Come True is a Canadian science fiction horror film written and directed by Anthony Scott Burns. The film follows a teenage runaway who takes part in a sleep study that becomes a nightmarish descent into the depths of her mind and a frightening examination of the power of dreams. The film stars Julia Sarah Stone and Landon Liboiron. This film was on Pedro's watch list. Pedro, why was this film on your list?
So I am a huge fan of the director, but I did not find him through his movies. I found him through his music. So he goes under the name Pilot Priest for this, and he made one of my favorite songs. I guess it's an instrumental, but it's one of my favorite songs, and called Archive 7. And then from there, I followed him on Instagram, and he was promoting this movie, and he looked really interesting. And I really like the feel that his songs make you feel. So I checked that out, the trailer, and I'm like, this looks really interesting. And then until right now, I was able to watch it.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to describe it. It's like kind of like techno music, right?
Yeah, like synth and techno.
Yeah.
Electrical. Yeah.
Yeah, I listened to a few of his songs, and it just reminded me of that movie Drive with Ryan Gosling. If you remember that movie. I love that movie. I need to watch it again. But yeah, so what did you think?
I enjoyed it. I like the way that I like those kind of movies that are like super open ended, and like it's up to the audience to figure out what happened or what's going on. So I like that. But at the same time, the other half of me was like, I want to know more. I don't know what happened. So I'm kind of divided in there. So yeah, that's where my initial thoughts when I finished watching it, and then later on I started looking more into it, and it was really interesting. Looking at the theories that other people thought about, it was really interesting to see that.
Yeah, I can pretty much say the same thing, because when I was younger, I would have like dreams almost every day. I learned how to like, what's it called? Like where you know you're in a dream, you can control it. What's it called again? It's like
What's it called?
it starts with an L. I forgot.
Liminal?
Either way,
No.
liminal. No, it's not, we're thinking liminal spaces.
Yeah.
Lucid dreaming. There we go.
Lucid dreaming. There we go.
So
Yeah.
I knew how to do that and everything, but like over the years, I just like, I guess my stress levels like got increased to the point where like I don't dream as much anymore. But when I was younger, I saw Inception, and most people know this, but that's the movie that made me want to become a filmmaker. And so I would write like stories kind of like set in the world of Inception, you know, kind of like my own little fan fiction, but like like a spin off of like the movies. So I've always been interested in like the concept of like dreams and using them in your films, like Friday the 13th as well. No, never mind, that's Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street with Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
So I like the idea behind this movie, and I saw the trailer, and I was really intrigued by it. I pretty much felt like the same thing as you did. Like I liked the idea behind it, and the nightmare scenes looked really amazing. It was like, bro, this is like really cool. I've never seen anything like it, you know.
Yeah. There was moments. I'm sorry, but there was like moments there were those scenes, like the dream scenes. I wasn't sure if it was CGI or practical, because they were really good.
Yeah, because I know the director, he worked as a VFX artist for years before he started directing like films. So I think that might have been part of it. I couldn't find anything behind how it was made, but I think VFX was a part of that as well. But at the same time, like I appreciated the art behind it and the cinematography. They did a really good job with the cinematography. I just wasn't impressed with the storyline, you know. I hated the ending to this movie.
Yeah, it was a bold decision to include that ending, I'd say.
I would say it's a huge cop out. We're gonna spoil this movie. Basically, throughout the film, the main character, she's doing a sleep study because she wants to find a place to sleep because she has a troubled home. We don't really know what's going on between her mom and her, but she decides to do the sleep study because she's homeless essentially. She sleeps in the playground at night, and in the sleep study, at first she's fine, but then later on she has nightmares. And through a sequence of events, eventually it ends with it looking like she kills one of the doctors, like gouging out his eyes, and then going into the bathroom and then seeing a message on her phone. She laughs, and we see the message on the phone basically saying like, "Hey, we're trying to reach you. You've been in a coma for the past 20 years. We're using our technology to see if we could reach your, but we don't know how it's going to reach you." And I don't want to say I was mad. I just want to say like this could have been done a little bit better if it went
I
for.
I do agree with that. I think the storyline could have gone different ways to make the story stronger.
Yeah, and I'm not sure which theories you read, but I read a couple of like analysis of the films, basically saying like there were attempts to wake her up, but each time she had a seizure. It was just them trying to reach her through the technology, but they couldn't reach her. It was just her subconscious like not letting her go. And then the last sequence, she's trying to do it, but the subconscious won't let her go. And I can understand where that's coming from, but it's just I'm the type of guy like, well, I don't say it's just me, but like there's like a thin line you need to balance between subtlety and just being more obvious, you know. I think they went way more into the subtlety area and then veered right into the obvious right at the end, you know.
Yeah, I agree with that. I have whenever I used to like make movies back then when was studying film, I did struggle with that balance, like you said, with between subtlety and like whatever is obvious, and it's really hard to balance it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it was all subtle, all subtle, all subtle, and at the very end, it's like, okay, I don't know if that decision was really thought out, but I guess it works. I mean,
Yeah.
well,
You know what it reminds me of?
oh what?
I made a student film back when I was an undergrad. This would have been my not second feature, my second narrative film. It was a horror film, and it was concept was very similar to Nightmare on Elm Street with dreams and whatnot. And it's not my best work. You know, some people liked it, but I hated it, mostly because like the production side was very stressful to the point like I shot it chronologically, right? So the first 2 minutes are amazing because I was actually trying, and then the last 6 minutes is just me putting some shit together because I don't know what the hell was going on, and then the last minute is just a cop out ending similar to this one, but only because I didn't care enough to finish it the way I wanted to finish it. I just needed to turn the grade in. So I don't want to compare my shitty student film to this feature film, but I am.
No, I can see where you're coming from. I had the same, kind of the same. Like you said earlier, you were drawn to Inception, right? Like dreams and all that stuff. I started getting into that kind of stuff freshman year of college. I started investigating more about lucid dreaming and how I would do that. I would like tried out all these like different methods to try to lucid dream. And there was times where it felt weird. I was just experimenting with myself, like kind of like in the movie. So I'm like, I got an idea, and I made this movie called "You Still Have Time." It was basically like, it was about mental health. It was like about suicide, but it starts with this college student waking up, and it's very liminal space, and throughout we shot it here at UT campus, so it was at night, so it felt very surreal, very ethereal. And she goes throughout the thing. She hears voices. There's things going on. The clock tower is like, just sounding super loud. At the very end, we figure out that she's about to jump, and everything that was happening just was happening in her head. But yeah, later on, years later, it was like I could have gone different ways with this. I could have done it better because I don't know. I felt like I added a lot of symbolism, going back to that balance between subtlety and what's obvious. And yeah, I feel like I could have done better with that one.
I think our excuse is that we were still learning, you know.
Yeah, yeah, I'll take that.
And we were, also this was for a class, right?
Yeah, that's right. No,
So
no. It was for me. It was for me.
Oh,
It was
okay.
because I haven't had the chance to shoot a movie in a while, like my own kind of stuff outside of class. So I shot this like in 2 days. So I made
So
it.
yeah. So our excuse is that we were still learning, you know.
Yeah.
The reason why it sucks is because we sucked at first. This one, like I think we kind of like agree. It could have gone for like another draft, and it would have been fine, you know. Like the cinematography is there, you know, the direction is there, the VFX are there, and the concept and the acting is all there. It's just the story is where it lacked. But yeah, how about this? Let's change of pace. What did you like about the movie?
You said it already. The cinematography was really good. there was several shots that I were like, oh my god, it looks amazing. There
Mm-hmm.
was one shot in the beginning, like right in the beginning, where she's sleeping in the slide, but everything's dark around her. There's just like a spotlight on her. I think that
Yeah.
was really interesting. And then we talked about the dreaming scenes; those were really good. The tone that the cinematography set throughout the whole film was really good. The acting was really good. The music, I mean, the
Oh yeah.
music coming from the director Pilot Priest, I felt like the soundtrack was really good. What was the name of that music that they played? That track, Modern Fears by Pilot Priest and Electric Youth. I think
Yeah.
I heard it during that scene and I had it on Spotify. It was it's a really good. It was a really good track. But I think those are the music and the cinematography were probably the highlights of that movie for me. And the
Yeah.
concept, I really like the concept.
The director, he did like music videos before, right?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Because like I know he made music, but that one scene that I think we both know what we're talking about, where she's watching Riff's dream, that
Hmm.
felt very much like a music video. I was like, you know what? Let's put this as a musical. Yeah, this looks like a musical a little bit.
Yeah, it was really good. And I think it was one of I think it was not I think it was the only scene that used like an actual song.
Right.
Yeah. It was a really nice moment there. Like a little shift in tone. Like it was kinda happy. But yeah, I really enjoyed that little bit.
I would say the same thing as you said, as cinematography and the music. It was pretty cool. I also liked I want to say the villain was just like a shadow with glowing eyes. I thought that was like pretty cool. I wasn't that intimidated by it, but I was like, you know what, that's a pretty cool concept. I think that's something that like most people, I think it's like a universal figure that's like to be afraid of. Like whenever you're out in the woods and you see a shadow, it's like,
Hmm.
whoa, who are you? You know? Or like you see a silhouette of a person in a dark room, who you're not familiar with. You're like, oh shit, I'm about to die. You know?
Yeah. No, yeah, it was really interesting the way they constructed that character or that shadow. I'm still wondering if it was CGI. I've tried to replicate the eyes. Like
Mm-hmm.
how do you make the eyes? Like how do you make the just a black figure and just like two points of light coming out of your eyes? I think that's interesting.
This is my guess. Just like like those body suits, like those color body suits. Like just do like a
Mm-hmm.
black one or maybe a green one for special effects, and then just put like LEDs on the eyes. Just strap it on, and then in post like trying to like darken around the face, so you only see like the eyes coming out and like the silhouette. That's my guess on how it was made.
Yeah, because I feel like those skin tight suits might make the body look weird,
You're right.
but
Yeah.
the way they pictured it here, the figure was kind of like meaty, and you can see the texture. It was you
Yeah.
not see the texture, where you can feel it like it's real, right? It felt
Yeah.
weird. It felt strange to see it. I think they did a really good job in that area.
I wish there was like a interview with like the person who did that specifically, because it was a really cool effect. Like with the scene where the two, you can see the two. It was like the screens with the two men who were dreaming. They were like in sleep paralysis, and then the shadow figure appears to both of them, and then it's like
Yeah.
in sync. So it looks like it's the same shadowed figure that's visiting both of them at the same time, even though it's
Hmm.
in their mind. So I thought that was pretty cool. I thought it was, I'll be honest with you, like I wasn't scared when that scene happened. I was like, oh, I mean, it's kind of obvious that it would appear to both of them at the same time. But that, what did you think when that happened?
I wasn't scared, but I felt really uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the word. I felt uncomfortable. It felt very eerie, and then I think what there was something the doctor said, like the main doctor, was just like, "There's something primal that we all share. That whenever we see it, we free like our body freezes." And
Mm-hmm.
I think that concept, or I feel like that story should have followed that idea.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it would have been better. But I think I read in an interview with the director, it was like it wasn't about sleep paralysis. It wasn't about that concept. It was about following the journey of Sarah. But I don't know. Like I feel like it would have played better if we
I
follow
agree
that
with you.
concept.
I agree with you. It would have been a lot better if they were looking for the sleep paralysis demon, and throughout the film, it kind of like haunts each of them as they go to sleep because they dare to understand what he was, or what it was.
Yeah,
That
because I felt like in like at the middle of the movie we shifted towards the study about sleep and more about her story. We started following her more.
hmm
So I feel like it would have been more interesting to just follow that concept about sleep and sleep paralysis and how we don't really know what's going on while we dream.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn, it's just a lot of missed opportunity with this film. Like it could have
I
gone.
agree.
Yeah. I think we could. I think we could do it better, man. We got the Latino James Cameron, the Latino Martin Scorsese right here.
Calm down, and then we both like this kind of stuff, like dreams and creepy stuff and eerie stuff. So I think we should try it out.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. All right, watch us out next year, guys. You know, the next Ramirez Castro film coming out 2023.
2023. I think that's just soon. I think maybe 2025.
2024, man. We gotta do this soon. Okay, actually, no. 2025 makes sense. We don't want to rush this. We don't want to rush art.
Yeah.
All right. So, oh, actually, let's talk about the clues that she's in a coma. So, I didn't pick up on this. I don't think anyone picked up on that she was in a coma the whole time. It's kind of up in the air as to whether she got into coma right after she had sex with the doctor when she fell asleep, or if she was in a coma throughout the whole film. What do you think?
I did see a bunch of theories about that. I said they both make sense. Like there's evidence for both theories about was it either a coma for the entirety of the movie or she fell in a coma sometime in one of the seizures that she gets. So I felt like it was throughout the whole movie because the whole movie feels like a dream. But at the same time, I feel like she could have gone into a coma during one of the trials, maybe the first trial, or maybe whenever she got that seizure in the laundromat.
Mm-hmm.
Because after that, that's when things get weird, like with the lady that wakes her up, that she's blind, and she
Yeah.
loses her phone, and then she starts seeing all the other stuff. So I feel like people can interpret it both ways. Like it could be both can be, and I wonder what the director would think about this. It would be like, I want to look into his mind and see what he was thinking when he was writing the movie.
I think we all kind of want to see what he was thinking.
Yeah.
I like the idea that she was in a coma the whole time. I saw this theory that was basically saying like the whole time she was like, running away from her mom is because she didn't want to confront the idea that she was actually in a coma. Like the way I saw it was like after watching the movie, the way I saw it was like she avoided the mom because it just wasn't comfortable to come back awake. Maybe she's part of the reason why she's in a coma. And every time she spoke to her, that's like the mom visiting her in the hospital, trying to speak to her, get her to wake up. That's how I saw it.
That's how I saw it too. It's like if she's in a coma throughout the whole thing, then the mom's visiting her, and maybe the dark figures are the doctors trying to like wake her up and like doing all his stuff, so try to contact her in her dreams.
Yeah, and I also saw like numerology theories as well, like the number 711, which is like when she wakes up in the beginning of the movie, it's 7:11 a.m. And I'm not into numerology, so I might have gotten this wrong. It's like it's the beginning of a journey or whatever. That's what it means. And then later on, there's the number 10:01 p.m., which is like a mirrored number, something about guardians or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too. If it was intentional on the director to do that, I guess that's fine. But I'm not too much into numbers. I don't really find that much meaning in numbers to put so much focus on them.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how I am. I'm sure other people do, but that's some other theories I saw. Like, oh, okay, I guess that kind of makes some sense because she's always with her phone, and then once she doesn't have her phone anymore, she's not comfortable anymore. She's lost her comfort zone. I saw it as like that's her tether to her subconscious, and once she loses it, she's uncomfortable. And I guess that was their way of trying to like get her to work to get out of the coma. And that whole walk through the woods at midnight, the shadows that they see on the screen,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like the doctors trying to like on her side on the bed, like seeing if she'll actually like go through with it, or like the scientists.
Yeah.
And the last thing that she was supposed to see in her dream that was getting like a device, I think that was the thing that was supposed to wake her up. But as soon as Riff like clicked the phone, she woke up. So that's how I saw it.
Yeah, there was a lot of symbolism around there, and I like the idea of having an active audience. Like they watch your movie, and then you want them to go out and try to figure it out. Okay, what's going on? All the symbolisms. What does this mean?
Hmm.
But I feel like there's a limit. There's a limit where
Yeah.
there's a limit where like, okay, I can't figure this out. I'm not gonna entertain this movie anymore. But yeah, the numerology in this movie, I think it was interesting. It was well placed. There was another thing that he used. Oh, the chapters. The
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
what was it? It was, I think I
The
have it
Jungian,
here.
the Carl Jung.
Yeah,
It was the self, the animus, the shadow, and the persona.
yeah. I think that was a really interesting element to include, and I think it worked out in the story. But again, it was because he, like the director, wanted to focus on Sarah's journey.
Hmm.
These chapters wouldn't have worked if it was going through the concept of dreams and stuff.
All right, let's get into the production of the film. So it was shot in Canada, and the lead actors, Julia and Landon, both praised the director, saying he was like an actor's director. He was very collaborative with them as to their choices. But the most difficult scene for them, especially for Julia, was walking through the woods in the middle of the night because it was very, very cold. It's in Canada, and she's only wearing a hospital gown.
Yeah.
So I understand. I don't want to say I understand, but like I can empathize with that, you know? I can sympathize. I'm not sure if I'm using that right. And for like also that finale, they had like huge fog machines. I think that's pretty obvious. You can't they kind of
It
need
was
the aesthetic. You're gonna need
Yeah, that
fog
was
machines.
it was huge clouds of fog everywhere at towards the end.
The thing I liked about this movie that I truly admire, it looked like it had more people than they actually had. It was essentially just a 5-man crew throughout the whole thing.
Oh, really?
And
I didn't catch that.
yeah, it's and pretty much it looked like, how do I say this? It looked like just like a regular indie project, but the talent is there that they, it looks like it's more than what they had, you know.
Yeah, that's
And
well put. Yeah.
that's something I can always appreciate. You know, money isn't everything when it comes to film.
Hmm.
It really comes down to hard work and skill. So that's something I really appreciate with that. I saw like sliders, I saw lights, tripods, DSLR rigs, you know, with like a focus gear and a monitor, like boom mics, stuff that like we both would probably already have, you know, as a videographers. You know,
Yeah.
shoulder rigs, shotgun mics. The only thing that like looked like cost a little bit more money, I guess two things, because the lenses were like one of those really expensive lenses, but the camera body was like a mirrorless camera. And there's also the camera mounted onto the car that looked like it cost a little bit more, but it wasn't like anything too crazy, you know?
Hmm.
There's something I liked about this film is that they used wheelchairs and hoverboards to like move the camera.
That's indie filmmaking for you.
Yeah, so the wheelchair, obviously, it was used for the hospital scene. The hoverboard was when she's walking out in the middle of the night in the hospital gown throughout the city. I thought that
Hmm.
was really cool. Like, I can't balance on any type of skateboard, so anyone who does that always impresses me. I don't care. And to do that with a camera, very impressed, sir. Very impressed.
I remember when I did mine. I think we used no, it wasn't mine. It was someone else's. We used a shopping cart to keep the camera.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic. So yeah, that's pretty much all I saw. Unfortunately, I'm not well versed in visual effects or CGI to know exactly what went into the nightmare scenes. I just know that the director is a VFX artist, so he might have done it all himself. He might have hired some people to do it.
Hmm.
But I couldn't find any information about that online. So if you want to learn more about VFX from me, I'm sorry, I have disappointed you yet again, and I will disappoint you again until I learn VFX.
It's hard, man. And then you need like a very powerful computer to be able to like render those stuff.
Bro, I know. Ah, it's so frustrating. I did learn Blender last year. But I'm the type of guy where like I will learn a bunch of things at the exact same time and then eventually overwhelm myself and then I stop because of the burnout. So but I learned how to make a donut on Blender. I did it.
A donut? That's funny. What was that program that After Effects used? Element 3D, I think it was called. I didn't watch any tutorials. I just went. Well, I watched tutorials on how to use, but I didn't like any of the basics back then, and because I was trying to include like 3D models into my movies and stuff, and I just couldn't get it. I needed the basics, and I couldn't sit down through the basics. It was, I don't know, it's too much, and then I heard that the rendering times were taking forever, and you needed a huge computer to process everything. And I was just working from my laptop, and I was like, yeah, I don't have the equipment for this, so I just rather like direct.
Yeah, that was me with After Effects. I have a connection in Los Angeles. He recommended I learn After Effects because that's what it's kind of becoming more a standard. Like if you know Premiere, you should also know After Effects. During the initial year of the pandemic, I tried to learn After Effects. I got okay at it, but then when it got to a little bit more intermediate stuff, I found out that my computer was not capable of doing that. I only have 8 gigabytes of RAM, and the minimum that's needed for After Effects is at least 16.
Yeah, it's gonna catch on fire.
Yeah, so unfortunately I couldn't continue. I did buy a computer back in August, but I just need to get a monitor. The reason why it was so cheap is because they didn't come with a whole set. I had to buy that set separately. It's just a matter of setting it up,
Yeah. One thing I did want to bring up is that, do you remember that viral short film from 2013 called The Flying Man?
I don't think so.
It was just a creepy man flying around, and then the thing of the story just revolves around people. Well, it was like two guys like trying to figure out what it is.
I see the IMDb for it. I don't think I've seen it though.
I think you've seen it. Well, I remember watching it. I was very fascinated by it because it was really it was the same tone as this one. It was very eerie, very strange. It felt weird. And then yesterday when I was researching the movie, I found out that director for Come True was the cinematographer for that, The Flying Man. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I had not I had not thought about this movie, The Flying Man, in a while, and then just looking into it just brought back like a core memory that I had when I was a kid. It was strange just to seeing that, because I kind of remember being fascinated by it, but at the same time I don't remember watching it. Maybe it was like through like people making edits of it, like trying to make it real. And then later on, finding out that it was from a short film.
Yeah, it was like that reminds me of like that movie Signs, when like early internet, like 2004, they would take that one clip of the alien walking at the birthday party,
exactly,
and made it more shitty camera quality, uploaded it online to make it look like it was real. People were like, "Yo, is that an alien?" But it's like, no, it's from a movie.
Yeah. That same thing happened to me. It was really creepy seeing just the clip, and then I watched the movie. It's like, oh, this is where it's from. I like Anthony Scott Burns' work, Pilot Priest. I hope he continues making movies. I feel like he has a lot of different and interesting concepts that he can build movies around. And I don't know, he gives me like Ari Aster vibes. I feel like he keeps on doing his thing. He might maybe pull out something really good in the near future.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like I don't want to, if he's listening to this, I don't want to say like you're not talented. No, I think he has the talent. He's worked in the industry for more years than we've both of us have either been alive,
Yeah.
And I do look forward to the next movie. I just hope he learns from this movie to see what else he can improve upon, because that's the only thing we can do. We can only improve upon what we did before.
Yeah.
So I do look forward to the next movie, because he gave me more like David Cronenberg vibes,
Yeah.
I never seen his films, but like I know about it. I've seen some clips, so I was like, that's kind of like what it feels like to me.
Yeah, I got a lot of vibes that really reflected from Hereditary or like The Lighthouse. Well, maybe not The Lighthouse, maybe the tone, but like just that indie feel, very interesting concept kind of thing. And I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to whatever he does later on. And if he is listening to this, I really like your music.
You got some solid music, sir, Mr. Pilot Priest. So that concludes our conversation today. Thank you so much, Pedro, for being here. Really appreciate you coming back here.
Yeah, thank you for bringing me back.
So, was Come True a hit or a miss with you?
Putting the story aside, it's a hit for me.
Last episode I recorded was Barbarella. That to me was a technical hit for me. For this film, unfortunately, I can't say technical hit. I do appreciate the artwork that went into it. For me, the hits were the visual effects, the cinematography, the music, the acting. But because of the story, because I got so mad, so frustrated at the ending, it's a miss for me. Like, it sucks that I had to say that, you know. It was like Game of Thrones for me, you know. It was like How I Met Your Mother. It was like, it has such a good run, and when it ended like that.
No, yeah, I get it. I understand, but I don't know. I wasn't really bothered by the ending because I was really taken away by everything else. But I respect it. It's good.
Yeah. So where can we find you on social media?
So I'm mostly on Instagram. You can find me at Pedcast10, PEDCAST10. And that's where I communicate most of my other handles and work. But yeah, Instagram is pretty much it.
Awesome. So that's it for today, folks. You've been listening to the Hit List Podcast. This was Season 5, Episode 7. My name is Jason, and until next time, cross off a new film from your list.